Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is the paid request. It's time for Ben. Thank you so much for that. Anyone that wants to request review, re-review, topic, commentary, reaction, video game playthrough, tier list, whatever the case may be, PayPal is usually the best bet. Or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. It'll be for pretty much any type of video. And he wanted me to talk about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Which people said it's no longer going to be Part 1 because there's going to be a Part 2, but at the same time that won't be the final one. And because at first it was going to be the final one. I don't know the details because it seems like everyone always changes their mind. It'll be the last one, but not really. So whatever. Real quickly, I liked the first Mission Impossible movie. I liked the third one. I liked the fifth one, Road Nation. I liked the sixth one, Fallout. Was impressed with that. The only ones I didn't like was the fourth one, Ghost Protocol. I know a lot of people like that one. I did not. For many reasons. And I was never big on Mission Impossible 2, the John Woo one. I thought this one sucked. You call me a hater, whatever. I don't really care anymore because I'm going to be honest like always. And how can I be that big of a hater if I said I like 4 of the 6 Mission Impossible films before this? I like 4 of the 6 of them. Including the last one, Fallout, I thought was really, really good. And I think this one was really, really boring. I thought Tom Cruise, a lot of times his performance seemed very tired. I just kept thinking, this guy looks tired. I don't think the action scenes, they were not as plentiful as the other ones. Some of the action scenes I didn't think were that memorable as they were hyped up to be. The plot I thought was very minuscule for such a long time. I mean, I know some of the Mission Impossible films are lengthy, but this was the longest, 2 hours and 43 minutes, almost 3 hours. There's really not much of a plot there. It deals with getting a T, the end. And the new characters really weren't that interesting. The villain I thought was so-so at best. And honestly, the plot, you know what this made me think of the plot? It ripped off Eagle Eye. This movie that I rather did enjoy, I think is underrated, with Shia LaBeouf. Funny enough, Michelle Monaghan, who I think was in... Well, she was in some of the Mission Impossible films. Because the plot is about an artificial intelligence that the government higher-ups know and they're afraid of. And this artificial intelligence that is maneuvering people around like it's a game of chess to move over to here and move over to here, and our main terrorist to go over here because they can outthink them and outwit them and be 4 moves ahead for this big master plan that's constructed and manipulated. Which is the same damn plot in Eagle Eye and the same damn plot in this, only Eagle Eye didn't need 3 hours to do it. It was much more tightly paced. And I thought much more of a thrilling movie, in my opinion. I made me want to rewatch that, honestly. I don't think that has a 4K or anything, but I would rather much watch Eagle Eye. I did. I don't even know if I have the Blu-ray of that, now that I think about it. But, so the plot, in my opinion, rips off Eagle Eye. But granted, the plot, I know I'm being facetious. AI, evil, hell, go back to the Terminator, Skynet, go back to a ton of other movies. So, I just picked Eagle Eye because that's the one that just reminded me the most. I think because of the manipulation with the being like a thriller with the government and not the FBI, but other people being associated with it and cover-ups and I don't know, it's the film made me think of the most. And I did the plot, other than that, is 3 hours of people trying to get T's. Here's a T that you put together, looks like a cross. And this person has a T and this person has the other T, and you need them to put together. But even if you get the T's, you also need to know what the T's are for. And that's pretty much the thrust of the rest of the movie. The very first scene, we see this Russian submarine, and it has this AI intelligence attached to it. And they see that there's a sub attacking them, so they fire a torpedo, but the torpedo doesn't hit it because it's a phantom sub. It's not there because they're being manipulated. And instead, the torpedo comes back, hits the sub. Thankfully, I guess it knew not to blow up the whole sub, so that the sub just goes to the ground. Thankfully, it doesn't explode, implode, however, it destroy the AI itself. So it just sits at the bottom while all the humans are dead. Meanwhile, and it's called the Entity. Yeah. Very, very clever name. So you get Ethan Hunt, who's on the case. And, like, the first bit of business is him going through a sandstorm and shooting some people. Really wasn't that memorable, wasn't that exciting, I mean, you think of, like, the first movie where he's with the team, and the team starts dying one by one. You're thinking, what the hell is going on? What? Or any of this stuff. Ultimately, he's helping up this other girl, Ilsa, who was in previous films. He faced her death in order to get her to safety. But yeah, nothing really memorable about that scene. Just some shooting that were done a lot better in a number of action films, from Nobody to John Wick 1, 2, 3, even some in 4, all that stuff. Plentiful other movies. And then it cuts to the character of Kittredge. He comes back. He was in the first movie. If you remember the first movie, he's a guy that says, I want to get the line right. I can see you're upset. And then Tom goes, Kittredge, you don't know, you haven't seen me really upset. That whole exchange in the first Mission Impossible. And to the point that they make him say the fucking same line again in this. In case you don't get it, you're too stupid. Because after the sandstorm scene, we go back to this office with all these officials, and they're talking about the Entity. And Terry Elwes from The Princess Bride is there. And talk about, I don't know, the line readings here felt very ham-fisted and overdramatic. This guileless, stateless, immoral enemy. Beguile, blackmail. What was the line? It'll beguile, blackmail, or bribe us all. I'm stuttering over the words because I don't even want to say it out loud. I don't know how these actors said these lines with a straight face. It was just so overdramatic. Guileless, stateless, immoral enemy. It's going to beguile, or blackmail, and bribe us all. I'm like, I'm sure it will. Well, buff fuck you too. The other B. So pretty much, Tom Cruise knocks everyone out, toss the Kittredge. Okay, you gotta find these two parts of a T. Then knocks him out with a dart. And the rest of the film is take a drink anytime someone says a T. We gotta do the T and the T of the T. Like, there's one scene, I think the same scene before Ethan Hunt comes in, where they say T like 20 times. The T, and then we get the T, and then the T, and then but the thing with the T. Get so annoyed with hearing about the fucking T. How about the T to your chastity belt? How about the T to your virginity? How about that? That's the only T I care about. Just got old. It wasn't interesting. Simon Pegg comes back. Ving Rhames comes back. There's no Jeremy Renner. I don't know, there's a time he was hurt, injured. Or if he was busy doing that stupid Hawkeye TV show, I don't know. But Jeremy Renner is missed because I liked him as an actor. So they did one half. They have one half of the key, and they're going to try to find the other half of the key. So they put it on someone, but then a thief named Grace steals it. So they're trying to go after her, and then Tom Cruise gets her and says, "You put that key back to the other guy, and then we need to follow him." Meanwhile, Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames thinks there's a bomb somewhere. So Simon Pegg goes over there and has to answer all these riddles. And I'm sitting there thinking, that bomb's not going to go off. It's a nuclear bomb. It's not going to kill everybody in the first 15 minutes of the movie. So you know it's going to be a dud of some sort. And lo and behold, it was. I mean, I'm sorry, there's never a point anyone's going to think, oh my god, they're really going to die. No, it's like, you know it's a dud. And then lo and behold, as they say during it, it's learning what you think, how you think. It's the AI getting information. Also serve its purpose, and to Tom Cruise knows that something's up and he's distracted, so some people get away. So that's the thing, that whole scene, there's no suspense. Because you know this bomb isn't going to go off. So where's the suspense of it? So they gotta go find the thief to get the key back. And then they get the key back. But then when they get the key back, the two of them handcuff each other, and they get into this car. They get in this car chase. And the car chase I thought was the only decent action scene in the movie. Now there's been other Mission Impossible films that have had good car chases. Fallout had one. Road Nation had one. So it was fine. Especially when they have to go into this little yellow car, which was cute, and it goes down the stairs, or at times it's swerving all over the road and skidding around. Tokyo Drift style. And ultimately it lands in this very narrow hall, like very long hallways driving, and then it lands in these train tracks, and she handcuffs him to the wheel and she gets away, and then he's got to get out of it and jump out of the way of the train. Well, it's not Tom Cruise doing it, it'd be dangerous, so it's done by editing. And then they gotta go to this arms deal party where Esai Morales, and I don't mind the actor, he was in La Bamba, he was in the Sean Penn film Bad Boys from back in the day, but I thought his film was just so-so. It doesn't have the... It's not as interesting as Philip Seymour Hoffman's villain in Mission Impossible 3, or even as memorable as John Reno and John Voight in the first Mission Impossible. I guess I could say it's better than the villain in Mission Impossible 2, although I'd probably rather watch that movie. It might be tame John Woo, but the action has a little bit more grit, not grit, but a little bit more impact to it compared to this, and it's not 3 hours long. Although that, again, I don't think it's that great either. But if you're asking me which I'd rather watch the second one than this one. This arms deal party wasn't interesting. The guy from La Bamba, he was a so-so villain. He's pretty much ready to pull his pants down to get buffed up by this AI and listen to whatever the hell the AI says and does. Pretty much it's like, okay, either kill Ilsa, this person you've known for a couple movies, or kill the thief. Again, I think her name is Grace, but I'm bad with names. Bear with me on it. And so, boom, they go off, and Ethan distracts them, and they both run off, and the AI starts messing with Hunt's audio, so he thinks he's hearing Simon Pegg, but he's not, and he gets turned around. And then you have this French assassin, which I read it was supposed to be like Leonard Nimoy play that type of character in the original TV show? Which I didn't. If that's the case, it'd be funny. Just that was a guy, and here they make it a girl. And then maybe, well, was Leonard Nimoy? Did he play that character? And if so, was he French on that? So again, I don't know. I'm not an expert on the TV show, but I read up that apparently it's supposed to be a bit of Leonard Nimoy's character from the show. So he's fighting her, knocks her out pretty easily. Doesn't get there in time. The thief girl gets away, but Ilsa dies, gets stabbed. Now, I didn't mind that character, Ilsa, in the previous films. I'm not, oh my god, how dare they kill her off. I'm not that way, because I didn't have a strong emotional connection. But at the same time, she was better than the thief lady, and I don't know why they kill her off just to replace her with this thief lady who's just not as interesting. I guess to up the stakes, but at the same time, I didn't feel it. And apparently other people, they were either pissed off or angry about it, so it didn't really work for them who did like her. As for me, who's indifferent, I'm like, I liked her better than this thief girl. Don't give a shit about her. She was there just to be the plot point that keeps stealing the tea away from Ethan, and Ethan has to steal the tea away from her, and we keep going back and forth with this T 8000 T business, T that goes 3 fucking hours. 3 hours. 3 hours. So Ethan's bad about her, of course, that Ilsa died. Ving Rhames gives him the speech of, this is what the entity wants. It's so weird for a Mission Impossible movie to then go into this, like, I mean, they're not realistic movies. I mean, the whole mask being so perfect. I mean, yeah, so you say it's been sci-fi before. It's still a bit weird that we have this AI, again, stole from Eagle Eye, in my opinion. And so Ving Rhames says, he keeps saying the entity. Just weird vibe to it. And then Ving Rhames is gone for the rest of the movie. At least until I guess the next one. He's gone. He's on some other... They sent him off to do something else. And you don't see Ving Rhames anymore for the rest of the movie, which is a shame. Because I like Ving Rhames. So the thief is going to go undercover wearing a mask as this other person and be on this train, while Tom Cruise is going to get there on a bike. And by the way, if you've been keeping track, the only action scenes, I guess if you count the sub at the beginning, the Sandstorm shootout, which I don't think was much of anything to run home about. I've seen PM Entertainment action films that will outshine that any day and night. The car chase, which was fine. I liked it. The foot chase, which was meh, forgettable. And then this, Tom on a bike. And the big stunt, which there were like 4 or 5 of these in the last film, which was Tom Cruise jumping, and that's when he broke his ankle, whatever, and he didn't quite make it. When he's driving, and he hits the car, and he flies off. The skydiving, but I forget what that suit is, where you're floating down. When the car goes on the rope and he's climbing up on it. And of course the whole helicopter finale, yeah, it's insane. He's on a motorcycle, he drives off, and then jumps off and is skydiving down. Now, of course, that would be impressive. Of course it is. I couldn't do it. But the way it's shot didn't look impressive. It was like the way it was shot. Like, I know it's not CG, but it looks like it. I don't know how to describe it. I looked up video. He did do it. I think they have a ramp and they had to CGI that out. But when he dives off and I don't know, because it just looks too clean. I know he did it for real, but it looks CG. I don't know how else to describe it. And it's okay. He's skydiving, pulls parachute, and then it cuts away. Now, if it was him with the parachute, and we see that he's going down, he's got to try to get on this train, and like, oh shit, like, he's actually trying to parachute, and is he going to get on this train? And okay, is he going to make it? Oh, he's going to make it. Oh my god, No, that's not the case. So it just becomes a very, sadly, mundane stunt compared to the skydiving bit he did in the last movie. The skydiving did he in the last movie, where he's going down and he's got that suit. It was a lot longer. There's a lot more parts to it to sell that scene even more so. And it felt like a lackluster version of that scene in Fallout. I'm like, this is the big scene? Hell, which Mission Impossible? The one where he's on the side of the plane holding on, and you see it going up. That was more impressive. Like, this last scene's more impressive. I think that was Road Nation, I think. I hate to say it, it didn't look that impressive visually. And of the big stunts he did, this is the weakest one. So to pin all your marketing and all your hopes and dreams on that. I give credit to Tom Cruise being nuts to do it. And he accomplished it, but I just don't think visually it looked that impressive. And then the fact it cut away, because then for a joke moment where he crashes through the crashes through the train window in the nick of time to save the thief lady. I think even on the train, it's pretty much not a whole lot of fighting. It's more, we gotta unbuckle the train cars because there's bombs up ahead. You do have a fight between him and Esai Morales on top of the train. Even that didn't look that great. I don't know what it is. Like, I will see behind the scenes that they did film on top of a train. But something about the way it's shot, or I don't know if it's the filters they use, it just didn't look that real. Even though it was real. I don't know what it is. I don't think it was that well filmed. I don't think it was that well... I don't think that was put together well to... And there was also a lot of CGI additions because, understandably for safety reasons, there's a bit where there's a tunnel, they get down on the tunnel, and then they're on the side, and they're trying to fight each other on the side, where the bad guy's trying to slice Tom Cruise, and he keeps sliding to the side there. Keeps sliding over and over, while this guy keeps swiping at him. Then these agents are after Tom Cruise, they grab Tom Cruise, Esai Morales escapes. Then it's like, we need to unbuckle these cars, they do. There's a bit where him and the thief jump while this other thing blows up. And then the train's like this, and they gotta try to climb up. This assassin who Ethan didn't kill saves them. Gives them the other key, tells them some vital info. Tom Cruise escapes. The art thief... not art thief, but... Why do I keep saying art thief? I keep thinking of entrapment or something. The thief decides to join that Kittredge, the guy from Mission Impossible 1 who arrives there. Tom Cruise parachutes down, gets with Simon Pegg, they ride off. Some monologue, diatribe about the AI entity that's at the bottom of the ocean, and then the movie ends. Yeah, I know, I just summed the movie up. I summed the movie up to show how it really isn't that impressive of a story, in my opinion. It's not that exciting, it's not that thrilling. It's not tightly paced. It's very bloated at a 3-hour running time. The action scenes I don't think that fantastic, that great, except maybe the car chase. The train bit, give me the train bits in Bullet Train, that whole entire movie, which had CGI as well. But it's just much more exciting, much more fun, much more engaging of a movie, even with the CGI. Tom Cruise, I mean, there's really no room for much fun banter because of the situation, which you would think with 3 hours. Probably the only bit is when he's ready, right before he jumps the cliff, Tom Cruise is talking with Simon Pegg, and Simon Pegg just jump. And Tom's like, just jump. You know, this ain't going to be high enough, and I'm going to hit some of these cliffs down below. That's probably one of the only times you get any humor out of the movie, of this 3 hour running time. And like I say, Tom Cruise at times just looked tired. I would say this is his weakest performance as Ethan Hunt. The weakest performance. And one of the weakest plots. We gotta get the tea. Someone stole the tea. We gotta get the tea back. She stole the tea back. He has the tea. Now she has the tea. We gotta get the tea of the bee's knees. That's it for 3 hours. Again, action scenes. Sandstorm wasn't much with the little shootout. It was very typical, very mundane. Then the car chase, pretty decent, but other Tom Cruise, other Mission Impossible films have had pretty decent car chases as well. The stuff at the arms dealer party, a lot of exposition. A lot of exposition in this movie. And that's a problem when they keep doing this, when they split movies into 2 parts. They did that with the Harry Potter film, where they split into 2 parts. They did with a lot of films. What happens is the first part is all like build-up, exposition, and why did this need... There's no reason this needed to be 3 hours long. Besides if it's 3 hours, it must be epic. Well, it didn't create epic box office. In fact, this was a box office bomb. For what I understand, I read up reports it lost $100 million. Got a lot of good reviews, but people looked at it and they went, you know what? I don't want to see a 3 hour movie that's a part 1, and then I gotta wait, what was it now, 2025 for part 2? Because I don't think it's coming out this year. They're probably like, fuck it, I'm gonna wait till... I'll just watch this at home and then go watch the second one, if they do. Not every damn film needs to be 3 hours long. Again, I don't think the new characters were that interesting. Again, the villain was so-so. The thief was just kind of mundane. Felt like a character I've seen dozens of times before. There was just nothing intriguing or interesting about her. Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg are there that kind of go do their typical thing. There's really nothing unique given to those characters. Like, it'd be nice if Ving Rhames was given more to do, to be more essential of a plot point. Like, this time it's someone Ving Rhames knows, and him and Tom Cruise have to work side by side, or something like that. Not the case. So yeah, I thought this film rather sucked. I would never, ever see this film again. And for people saying this is excellent, and this is one of the best of the franchise, teach their own, I don't get it. Hell, you want to see Mission Impossible with a train? I'll take the first movie ending, red light, green light, with the gum and... You know, helicopter blade ready. Yes, I know there's CG there, but it's 1996. I can forgive it. And it was more exciting. And he jumps on, and the Mission Impossible theme. Dun, 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 dun. Red light, green light. Fuck you. No, he doesn't say that. He jumps. The explosion flies into the train. He almost gets hit by the helicopter blade. That was more exhilarating than anything I saw in this movie. Even the second film, as ridiculous as going 100 miles an hour on a motorcycle and clash into each other and no ribs broken. Even then, I was more exhilarated by the finale of the second film. And he got Limp Bizkit. Come on. Take a look around. This don't have shit, in my opinion. Except 3 hours that was not tightly paced at all. So yeah, you can like the movie whatever you want. I thought this film sucked. I mean... Again, a lot doesn't get thinking. I just want to rewatch Eagle Eye. It's like ripped off Eagle Eye. Again, I know it didn't really rip off. I know it didn't rip off. No one's ever heard of the film or watch it. But again, I just compare it because that's a film I much prefer talking about than this movie. So with that said, I just thought that did this type of plot better in that movie than here. I stand by what I say. If you may. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.